Very good afternoon and welcome everyone. I'm your host Palvi. Thank you for joining us for today's virtual boardroom on Next Evolution Web 3.0, blockchain technology and its impact on the future of business. To discuss this topic today, we have with us the five most eminent speakers: Mr. Utpal Chakraborty, Chief Digital Officer, Allied Digital Services Limited; Mr. Sunil David, Digital Technology Consultant, Ex-Regional Director, IoT, AT&T; Ms. Preeti Raghuvanshi Singh, Vice President, Quess Corp; Mr. Prasanna Lohar, Chief Executive Officer, Blockstack; Ms. Garima Tyagi, Vice President, Head HRBP, Society General Global Solution Center. Welcome all the speakers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So before we start with a conversation with these industry leaders, I would like to give a brief about TechGig. So TechGig is a part of Times Internet and a fastest growing developer community of 4.6 million software professionals. TechGig's objective is basically to bring together a community of tech enthusiasts and experts to network, to learn and to advance their career in the tech industry. It provides various products and services related to the technology and IT industry, like TG Pro, which is the country's largest database and pre-assessed, pre-verified skill-based profiles of developers, from where you can hire candidates based on their skills proficiency in technology and shortlist the candidates in a very time-efficient manner. So moving towards a topic, Web 3.0, which is a third generation of internet, and it is expected to revolutionize the way we interact with the online world. It is built on blockchain technology, which is distributed ledger that ensures transparency, security, and immutability of transactions. Web 3.0 enables peer-to-peer interactions, decentralization of data, and smart contracts that offer automation and efficiency to various business processes. Now, without any further delay, I would like to request our speakers to share their views so that we will get to know more about the impact of Web 3.0 and blockchain technology on the future of business, and what skills does the tech industry will need to adapt these technologies. So ladies and gentlemen, my first question is going to be from Mr. David. So, Mr. David, what is the new evolution of Web 3.0 and how Metaverse relates to the Web 3.0 adoption?
Right, thanks, Palvi, for that question, and good afternoon to all those who joined virtually, and also a warm welcome to all the esteemed panelists on this virtual event. Palvi, thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to be part of such a big platform. TechGig is a wonderful platform of online tech professionals. I think great for them to have this opportunity to learn from experts, especially in a field like Web 3.0, which is the future of tech, so to speak. Now, coming to your question, Palvi, in terms of how Web 3.0 and Metaverse are related, people use these words interchangeably. It's not the same. By using Web 3.0 technologies, the Metaverse gets only better and bigger. And some of the key features that Web 3.0 has, which makes the Metaverse even more nice. One, of course, is the decentralization of this whole internet. There's still work to do. It will take some time. This whole aspect about digital trust, and that's where your blockchain would come in. And then the whole architecture is kind of distributed. And then, of course, you can have your transactions done autonomously, like smart contracts is one good application. Now, if you just look at Web 3.0 today, some of the major use cases that we are seeing where Web 3.0 is being used is in the area of decentralized finance. Gaming, of course, is a big industry. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. We're seeing a lot of gamers in India getting hooked onto gaming platforms. And this industry is only going to grow further. And decentralized autonomous organizations, that's another major use case. But if you just look at some of the key horizontal use cases, when you look at Web 3.0, one, of course, is Metaverse. Second one is non-fungible tokens. And I'm going to restrict myself only talking about Metaverse here. Because if you just look at Metaverse, which is basically a blending of the physical and the digital worlds, where you're trying to augment your human experience, and you're also trying to augment your digital experiences, right? So it is that coming together of the physical and digital worlds. That is what the Metaverse is all about. It's all about trying to provide better immersive experiences for consumers. Three aspects when you look at Metaverse. So one is the consumer Metaverse, and that's where your gaming and all that comes into play. Second is the enterprise Metaverse, Third is the industrial metaverse. Now, as I mentioned, that metaverse is all about trying to provide superior experiences. Purely from an enterprise standpoint, when you're looking at the enterprise, there are two important dimensions. So one is the whole employee experience, right? So we are living in what is called as an economy of experiences, right? So purely from an employee experience standpoint, how do you engage with employees better? How can you reimagine learning and development? How you can use metaverse for recruitment and onboarding? And in this context, I wanted to share an example of how Accenture, a couple of years back, they actually onboarded their new hires, the employees, on a metaverse platform. They called it Meet Us at the Nth Floor. Microsoft, they've upgraded their Teams platform. Teams is a very good collaboration platform. So it's a very good platform for either people to join virtually, or one can even build the digital avatars and collaborate in that platform, right? So the whole objective is how do you ensure that you can have better collaboration among employees? Okay, so from an employee perspective, improving employee experience is one very important dimension. Second area is customer experience. And that's an area where we are seeing a lot of brands now trying to find metaverse as an alternative platform to reach out to their customers. So all existing channels remain as it is, right? Your traditional modes of reaching out to your customers through social media, traditional advertising, those remain. Metaverse is another alternate channel, and we started to see how brands are doing that. And I just wanted to call out a few brands like BMW, well-known brand in the auto space. They are leveraging the metaverse now to reach out to their potential consumers. Even in India, some of the automotive brands like Maruti, for example, they've launched a virtual platform for their sellers to reach out to their customers. Gucci, well-known Italian fashion player, they are also trying to leverage the metaverse in a big way. In fact, within a few days of setting up a virtual art gallery on one of the metaverse platforms, they were actually able to get about 20 million plus visitors onto their platform. And they've also been able to sell 12 million worth of NFTs within a few weeks of starting that platform. So that's big. Nike, another big example in the footwear industry, they made sales of almost 185 million of NFTs, after they've launched their platform. So these are a couple of examples I wanted to share with you. When you look at enterprise, and especially when you look at industrial use cases, I think one important use case that I wanted to share is this whole aspect about digital twin, where you're trying to build a virtual representation of a physical asset. You can build a virtual representation of a product or a process or of an entire system. As per a Gartner study, the value of the digital twin market is about $130 billion. So trying to build simulations of your product, process, or system, trying to optimize that, is a huge market, and there are enough drivers now for the digital twin market to really grow, because we started to see a lot of sensorization of assets. We're using 5G networks now to connect all these assets to the cloud. Cloud is ubiquitous. The use of data and machine learning, of course, is growing, right? So from a tech standpoint, Palvi, I'm just coming towards the last part of my talk. From a tech standpoint, I think what is really important for all those listening to understand is that metaverse is coming together of multiple technologies, right? So you're talking about augmented reality, virtual reality, you're talking about blockchain, you're talking about 5G, and of course the use of AI and machine learning, because you're dealing with humongous amount of data. And how do you leverage the data? How do you get insights from the data to make better decisions? That's going to be critical, right? So I think there are enough and more opportunities now, either for entrepreneurs to start off something in this space, obviously need to find out the right use case, and also for those who are working today, the opportunities are huge. So whether you look at AI, machine learning, whether you look at blockchain, whether you look at cyber security, because that is going to be a very important dimension in terms of how do you secure all the data and all that. So that's my response to your question, Palvi. Thank you. You're muted.
Thank you so much, sir, for the great answers. So now, as we know that Mr. Chakraborty, he has only he has less time with us, so I would just like to move towards him. So Mr. Chakraborty, I just wanted to ask the question that what role AI is going to play into these entire Web3 and Metaverse landscape, and what are the security and regulatory challenges that we are facing?
Yeah. So thank you so much, Tech Geek and Pallavi, and thank you, Sunil, for setting the context, right? So nice context. So almost all parts has been covered, including the blockchain, the Web3 itself, the decentralization, which is the heart of Web3. So now coming to artificial intelligence, machine learning, and also different verticals of artificial intelligence, may it be computer vision, may it be speech analytics, may it be voice synthesis, may it be voice authentication, okay, and biometrics. So these areas will be heavily used and already, in fact, been using in Web3 and Metaverse. So now, I mean, we can say like Metaverse is the first phase or first use case of Web3, right? But till now, we don't know like how this Web3 world is going to look like, because still there are some POCs, pilots are going on. But we'll come to see the real use cases of Web3. And at that point of time, I think there will be a lot of places where you require intelligence. So there will be a lot of embedded AI. You need to embed AI into different parts of the DAO or the metaverse to make it intelligent. Because when we talk about, because there are two aspects to it. One is experience part, which essentially metaverse provides, but also there is a utility part also. So now for doing any kind of transactions, although blockchain is the backbone, but AI is going to play a major role because it is a cross-border transaction, right? So normally these transactions will be because Web3 and Metaverse will not have any kind of boundaries, right? So the financial systems in a particular country, okay, we deal with only the regulations of that particular country. Now, how to create an environment which is interoperable, as well as we essentially take care of all regulatory and compliance guidelines, because the core concept of decentralization, it cannot happen that the complete decentralization, what we know, okay, that can be implemented in a real sense, right? So definitely there will be a little bit of tweaking on the actual philosophy or the concept of the Web 3.0. So for doing that, that kind of a transaction, that kind of an ecosystem wherein actually you can send any of your resources cross-border, okay, and with any of the currencies, may not be only crypto, okay, because tomorrow you will see even the conventional currencies will also take a place in metaverse and Web3. Any kind of communication, okay, avatar to avatar communication, because ultimately when you go to metaverse or when you do this kind of thing, so it will be not you but your avatar. So avatar to avatar communication, and this is one of I think the major use cases. And we have seen that we have built a metaverse bank branch, and they are actually most of our time we spend on how to do communication between avatar to avatar. So for example, the customer avatar and the bank manager or the bank agent avatar, okay, how we can communicate and how he or she will understand that, and accordingly some transactions will happen in the background, right? So that is one thing. Now it comes voice authentication also, because I mean, if we talk about biometrics there, I think voice is going to be the one of the main biometrics, right? So when you talk about a metaverse which is interoperable, I mean, again, metaverse to metaverse communication, because this is a multiverse kind of a concept, right? Because there should be some kind of interoperability, then only it will be viable for all kind of businesses to come together and do that. So they are also AI, and Sunil has rightly pointed out. Apart from that, I think metaverse is going to be one place where huge number of or a humongous amount of data will be generated. Each movement of the avatar or each movement of yours will generate some kind of a data there. And now how to churn out that data and do any kind of personalization, any kind of what do you call auto setting, wherein it feels like your home, right, or the place that you like. So that is where AI is going to play a major role. Coming to business part of it, because one is customers, right? Other is the business houses or business owners who are going to put their shops or their banks or their thing. For them, analytics is very, very important. So why an individual has come to my shop, but he has not purchased anything and he went away, right? Or why a customer has come to my bank, but he has not done the fixed deposit or recurrent deposit. He has come, but somehow, to understand that, okay, you require that data and you require that kind of a high-end analytics. So those kind of things also AI is going to provide. So these are just few examples, but having, sorry, having said that, there will be many areas where we'll be using embedded AI in the metaverse and all. Coming to the challenges, the second part of your question. So of course, Sunil has already said the cybersecurity is one of the major challenges, because in an environment like this, okay, wherein there is a free entry for everybody, I'm sorry, no, you can come anonymously, right? And you can do whatever you want. Nobody is going to stop you. So there, I think security is one of the major challenges, and that is cybersecurity. So now, how to deal with that? So that is one area. I think people have already started working on that, and I think we'll be able to make it as secure as possible. Coming to regulatory point of view, because I mean we cannot build a world which is completely what do you call community driven, right? So till now, because we are part of a country, we are part of something, so some regulations will definitely be imposed there. Okay, you cannot say that it is a community and we'll decide whatever is going to happen there. So that kind of a metaverse is, I think, a little bit illusion till now. Okay, on a practical front, if you really want to do business in the metaverse, so there, or if you have community guidelines or community, this should also be aligned with the guidelines of your country or the rules and regulations of your country or the rules and regulations of your financial system, right? So that should be there. So let's accept it in a realistic manner rather than thinking something which is completely like illusion. So in that case, I think this is one of the major challenges, like uh, how to implement that regulatory framework, that kind of a compliance framework, so that it caters to the need of that metaverse ecosystem or the Web3 ecosystem. At the same time, it is aligned with the country or whatever this thing, okay, with that. So these are some few things that quickly comes into my mind, Pallavi.
So moving forward, I just wanted to ask the next question to Miss Preeti. So Miss Preeti, we heard both Mr. David and Mr. Chakraborty. So they are talking about the Web 3.0, AI, metaverse, cybersecurity, and all. So what do you think, through your perspective, what do you think that the job opportunities, what technical skills are required for Web 3.0, and also the market growth and opportunities are there?
Sure. Thank you, Pallavi. Thank you, TechGeek, for having me. So I'll try to give you two views on this, right? The India view and the global view. Let's start with the India view first. And let's say if we were to do a quick SWOT, on the India story, right? The strengths that, I see are one, 450 plus Web 3.0 startups in India as of, H1 2022. Two will be a 1.3 billion US dollar investment since 2020. And third will be 75,000 plus tech talent in the blockchain industry in India, right? The weaknesses that, we are seeing, and, Mr. Chakraborty covered this, is the ambiguity over use and regulation of digital assets, right? That's a weakness. This also could be one of the reasons why 60% of these India-founded Web3 startups are registered outside India. The opportunity here is, the largest tech-savvy middle-income user base that we have. We will have around 900 million plus active internet subscribers by 2025, and over a 120% plus demand rate of Web 3.0 tech talent in the next 1 or 2 years itself. The threat, of course, that I see are related to the weaknesses is the talent and the investor, exodus that's resulting in the, lost opportunity due to these shortcomings. Let's go to the global story now, and I'll try to cover the skill sets as well as the market opportunity, give you some data points on that. I think some of the points were covered by Sunil and Mr. Chakraborty. So would like to really start with AI. We've been talking about AI, and more specifically AI as a service, AI AAS, right? That's a third-party offering which helps basically individuals and organizations to do their research, to do their AI research at a low cost. Some popular names that we know that use AI as a core technology are Google, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft. The market value of AI is projected to reach 42.4 billion US dollars with a CAGR of 29% by the end of this year, right, itself. Then we have something called as proof of work and proof of stake. We all know, and we've been talking about decentralized crypto, currency networks, right? Now, these networks have to ensure that these transactions that are going, that are traveling, are carried out safely and securely without a centralized organization. Now, to accomplish this, the networks basically use a technology such as consensus mechanism. So proof of work and proof of stake are two consensus mechanisms that enable all the computers to just basically check whether the transactions are, valid, right? Now, to excel in this technology, one should have a proficiency in at least one high-level programming language, solid grasp of cryptography, security principles, knowledge of smart contracts, familiarity with algorithms, data structures, and according to statistics, it is estimated that the market value will reach around 69 billion US dollars by 2030. A huge market and huge opportunity. The next one is quantum computing, which of course works on the principles of quantum physics. It basically performs calculations and simulations that are otherwise not possible by traditional machines, right? Contributes to the industry of medicine, biology, climate change, right? Big names again that we hear are Google, Microsoft, IBM, Intel. They're always in the race to build quantum computing tools, right? So here again, one needs to know programming, mathematics, mechanics, scientific computing, algorithms. Reports suggest that the market for quantum computing is going to reach to 415 million by 2026 with a CAGR of 24.2%. Next one is IoT, like Sunil mentioned. Quickly, it's becoming an integral part of our lives. According to reports, IoT devices are increasing at a 31% yearly, right? And there will be 50 billion IoT devices by 2024. Some known names again are Mindtree, IBM, GE Digital, Verizon, right? Top IoT skills are machine learning, AI, Python, JavaScript, big data, Node.js. According to the reports, the market for IoT will reach 566.4 billion by the end of 2027 with a CAGR of 6.7%. Then we have the extended reality, or XR, like popularly known as. XR, of course, covers everything that falls under augmented reality, AR, virtual reality, VR, mixed reality, MR, or basically anything that comes in between, right? So businesses or major industries that use this, as we all know, are entertainment, gaming, marketing, design, right? They benefit massively from these extended reality networks. Now, according to Globe Newswire, the extended reality market is expected to grow to 397 billion US dollars in 2026, boasting a CAGR of a whopping 57.91%. Technological giants like Google, Samsung, Apple, they're always looking out for extended reality experts regularly, right? Next one is edge computing. This is more an architecture than technology, which is like a distributed computing pattern, which brings the data storage and computation closer to the source, right? Thereby, of course, improving response time, saving bandwidth, right? It's considered as an important factor in the 5G and IoT industries. Now, as per reports, Edge computing market is expected to reach $101.3 billion with a CAGR of 17.8%, right? The next technology or skill set area that I would like to mention is 5G or Wi-Fi. Now, with an increased adoption of video conferencing, we need reliable connectivity, higher bandwidth. The need for 5G and Wi-Fi 6 comes into play. Right? 5G networks are slated to have 1.7 billion global customers by 2025. The major players here that you hear are Samsung, Cisco, Nokia, right? It is expected to grow at a rate of basically 17.9% with CAGR. The next one would be blockchain, which we've been talking about again, which is revolutionizing every sector from banking, healthcare, or even politics. Many companies that are already using blockchain technology are HSBC, Barclays, Walmart, Pfizer, right? Now these developers, blockchain developers, need to know cryptography, data structures, computer networking. According to reports, by the end of 2023 itself, the market evaluation is expected to reach $19.9 billion with a CAGR of 42.8%. The next is cybersecurity digital trust. We know that several organizations have fallen prey to cyber attacks, right? And pandemic has triggered a rise in the number again. So some of the companies in this space are Cisco, Microsoft, McAfee, IBM. Here, knowledge of operating systems, networking, virtualizations, they are must-knows, right, in this domain. Recent reports suggest that the global security market size is expected to reach $31.82 billion by the end of 2023 with a CAGR of 15.2%. The next one, of course, is robotics and automation. In the coming years, right, as we all know, robotics will offer a lot to the world, like smart factories, adoption of agile robotics, cobots, right? Now, some popular names in this domain are Boston Dynamics, Universal Robots. Core robotic skills that one has to possess are Python, MATLAB, problem solving, mathematics, machine learning. Right? The global robotics market, just to give you a slight little number on this as well, is estimated to reach $70.84 million by the end of 2023 with a CAGR of 10.5%. And of course, we have been talking about metaverse, right? Let me try to give you some scale there as well. According to market research reports, the technologies that make up the metaverse was $52 billion in 2021, right? This is predicted to reach $1.3 trillion by 2030, growing at a CAGR of unimaginable 44.5%, right? Of course, we know that the North American region is the largest market, and APAC is, soon following. So, hope this gives you an idea on the market opportunity that we have at hand with Web 3.0.
Thank you so much, Ms. Preeti, for the valuable details that you just shared with us with all the figures. My next question is from Mr. Lohar. So, as we all know that your organization is completely based on Web 3.0 infrastructure, and Web 3.0 and blockchain is an important for all the sectors. So, what do you think, Mr. Lohar, how will the banking and finance industry change with the Web 3.0 and relevant technologies like AI and blockchain? Yeah. So, hi. So, Ms. Tyagi, so we would like to listen your thoughts about the readiness of the workforce for Web 3.0 and the ways in which people can be market ready.
Thanks, Pallavi. First of all, I really wish that I had my maybe avatar showing up out there, because my video for some reason is not running. And I think these are the times when avatars can really play a role, and we are talking about the right topic of metaverse and Web 3.0. But having said that, I think very interesting pieces of information, especially a lot of data points that Pallavi just shared when she was talking about the landscape of the market and the possibilities that lie ahead. What I'm going to share in just a couple of minutes to say, when you are talking about Web 3.0 and all the opportunities that lie ahead for you as somebody, and I'm talking typically about the participants that we have here who are excited, who are looking forward to build their career in Web 3.0 space. What are the specific things after hearing all of this and getting pretty excited about the opportunities? What are the things that you could perhaps do to get to the to this space and start building your market readiness, getting yourself more employable in this space? And a few things, of course, to begin with. The first thing first is that for a Web 3.0 skill to be built, what is very important is to have a clear understanding and experience on Web 2.0. That's something which is really, really important. It may sound easy to learn the key terms of Web 3.0 and understand and start getting onto the development, learn it in a while, but then what it really comes handy is what lies in Web 2.0 in terms of concepts and gain experience there. So you might want to have a clear roadmap laid out in front of you to say, if you're already experienced in Web 2.0, fair enough. I think it's very important to build on that experience. But if you have not really tried Web 2.0, my recommendation would be to start from there, start, understanding the concept, start, learning the language and gain experience in that space. And while you do that, I think you can also start working, thinking about how do you gain the key terminologies on the Web 3.0, because that's very familiar. That's something which is very important for you to be familiar with. And Web 3.0 ecosystem has, like I think any other specific generation, and this is what we call as third generation internet services, it has its own set of terms and aspects that people relate to in terms of those terminologies. So it's important to know that. And now the third one is, of course, I did mention about learning the programming language. I think one thing which we did was to, have a deep dive into what sort of languages are required. And I think it's very, very important as the next step to understand the framework of what these programming languages are and how do they really, help in building the NFTs, in the minting of the cryptocurrency, in the metaverse space, in building metaverse spaces, and so on and so forth. All the things that the earlier speakers mentioned. So, number one, just for all of us to be able to relate it in that sense, mastering your Web 2.0 concepts and gain experience in that space. Number two, be familiar with the key terms of Web 3.0 ecosystem and what lies there. Number three is learn programming language and the overall framework. The fourth, I would say, is to create your online and digital visibility or digital visibility. That's very critical. Okay, I mean, and it's like, the more you put yourself out there, the better it is for you to be able to understand and learn faster from the community of the developers, from the community of the folks who are into this space, from the experienced people as well. So it's a very good opportunity to basically share your challenges that you're working on, get inputs from the people. There are a lot of developer communities today out there. Okay, if you really look at it, there are on Twitter, you will find NFT Twitter spaces, you will have Discord communities, and you have other a lot of other communities on these forums where you can connect with loads and loads of developers and the non-technical folks as well who are working in the Web 3.0 space. And what you can also do is you can actually go there, speak, share your mind, as I said, share challenges, get inputs. You can participate in hackathons also. And there are a lot of organizations today in the global scenario who are really looking forward to picking up people who are really smart coders, from smart developers from the hackathons directly. So I think that's another important opportunity. Now what happens is that when you start building your digital visibility, people start taking a note of you, and it's not a short-term thing, it takes a while. But when you start doing it over a period of time, the companies will reach out to you online for the freelance projects or the gigs that you can start taking up. And that's another thing, because that builds onto your profile or resume eventually. And that's an important one, because the more enriched your profile or the resume is, the more chances that you land for an opportunity in the Web 3.0 space. Thank you. Yes, so the last one that I want to just call out, and as the sixth step perhaps, is to build your profile and portfolio build your network very clearly. And all of these points, the last one that I mentioned, when you create your digital visibility, when you start networking with the groups of people, in the development or non-technical areas as well, you start participating in hackathons, you start building your network, you start building your repute online, and you leverage all your people skills basically to get all of these networks. And what happens next is something that will be really surprising. It could be in terms of a job offer or a freelancing offer of a job for you, or it could be a crypto, for example, a crypto exchange that could come forward. It could be a startup who can come forward and where you can land your job. It could be anything in the financial sector, retail, healthcare, telco, all of these industries that all the other speakers spoke about. There are companies, I mean, of course, big techs are hiring. There are, as I said, crypto exchanges. There are organizations who are building the L1 protocols. There are blockchain infra development companies and so many more who are working on metaverse where you can really land yourself an opportunity. But on the technical side, we have covered it all. On the soft skill side, just 2-3 things that I want to mention. That communications is very important. You can't take it for granted. All right, so building your communication skills is very critical in whichever industry you are in. So that's one tool in your arsenal that you should always have. The second one, as I mentioned, is network building and people skills. The third one is teamwork. And this is all about decentralization, right? But still about pieces of information sitting all over the place. You have been one part of the whole chain of things. So I think what is very critical in overall scheme of things is teamwork, and how good a team player could you be. You have to be abreast with the trends and information that's in this space, because this is the very specific growing space, right? And you cannot take a chance of being ignorant and neglectful in terms of what's going on out there in the market. So be very keep your antennas up for the active trends and information what's in that space, and be active in communities. I think those are a few things which are on top of my mind, for all of you who are aspiring people to be in the web 3.0 space to come up. And the good news is, as I mentioned, that it's not just the technical part of it, but there are so many roles in the non-technical space as well that you can lay your hands on. Literally, there are web 3.0 marketing professionals, there are technical writers, there are Web3 consultants, community managers, development relation, a manager, and so on and so forth, that you can, even if you're not into development specifically, you can still have a promising career in the Web 3.0. With that, I'm being mindful of the time and giving it back to you, Pallavi.
Thank you so much, Ms. Garima. Actually, whatever you were saying is absolutely right. You were talking about, the hackathons and all, where people can get ready for the market, to keep themselves updated in today's world. So for that, the TechGig is also working on that, and TechGig is one of the platform who have, recorded themselves as in Guinness Book of World Records for the maximum participation in the hackathon. So yeah, we are also trying to get people ready for the market, in updating technology in on day-to-day basis. So thank you, Ms. Garima, for this useful information. So now moving towards Mr. Lohar. So Mr. Yeah, you're audible now.
Okay.
So as we know that your organization is also based on Web 3.0 infrastructure, and Web 3.0 and blockchain is important for all the sectors now. So what do you think, how will the banking and finance industry change with Web 3.0 and relevant technologies like AI and blockchain?
Yeah, I think it's going to change, right? So it has to change. That's how is the answer to look at it. And good to be here at this Tech Geeks conference, where we could see a lot of insights from Utpal ji. I think Preeti ma'am has given, in a nutshell, emerging tech, everything around emerging tech with what's really happening on the numbers, how the adoption is going to happen. So I think it's not only banking; every other industry is going to change. If you go back, how we were operating our banks in Web 1.0, it was all about without web, right? Almost like everybody used to visit to the bank branches happily, happily used to wait for 15 days, 30 days for account being open. And even if a loan is there, people used to wait for days, months together for their loans. Actually, that time there were hardly any different types of loans the way we see today, EMIs or BNPL and different type of microfinances or economy has changed. I think what we were hearing, even Preeti has spoken about communication, right? Used to live in the era of 1G, 2G, and today we are in the almost 5G as far as India goes, and down the line we'll enter in a 6G. So while we are in our life in one industry, certainly some innovation happens in other industry, always keeps asking some other industry to do cross-industry innovation. Look back in 2004-5, wherein mobile banking or mobile apps were from airlines or some other industry, and typically ICICIs and many other banks started creating their translation of banking, which was on the branches onto mobile banking. Eventually, we have seen multiple other channels, WhatsApp or many other things are coming up. Will not be surprised to inject or integrate generative AI kind of ecosystem to make it more intelligent. So I think that's a need of a customer, which is at across every industry. So in a nutshell, the blockchain is, which is a foundation technology like internet, eventually come and the change the way we do everything around technology, the way we transact, the way we transportation, communication. We used to be very happy to receive letters, right? 15 days we used to respond, other parties also happy to receive the letter, but today it's on the spot. That's how the behavior has changed. Now behavior is changed because of a many peripheral aspect. We have seen phones have become smartphones. Maybe tomorrow it will become something else as a form factor. So I think Web 3.0, which is typically composition of many technologies come together, right? Blockchain, AI, we heard cloud computing, edge of computing, or quantum computing in the future. So I think we are in era of adopting Web 3.0 everywhere. So every industry will adopt. It's not like banking will change. Certainly, it is going to change but adoption by hook or crook has to be there. Now we have to see which bank will adopt first, or which regulator will ask all the other banks under one country to adopt first. That's how is the huge pace we have seen. Like it took at least 10 years to bring mobile banking for any bank in India at least, or to bring some kind of SMS banking. It took a lot of years. But with the Web3 at the kind of a pace, UBI was a one first bank in India, while many other banks globally adopted metaverse. But I think in this year, you will see at least 10 banks launching or announcing we are on 5G as well as a metaverse bank or something. So that's a traction. Now, what is ultimate gain for customer? That is what we need to see. So ultimate gain for customer, whatever incentives of blockchain, AI. So if you look at the whole transformation threefold, on a front you have channels like web channel, which are existing channel like internet or mobile banking or social media channel or WhatsApp banking. Tomorrow it becomes IoT, because you will ask your car or your home to do transactions. Tomorrow it becomes metaverse, because that's another channel, people will go there. So on the channel, how to onboard customers and how to serve customer, how to engage that customer. While you are asking this aspirational thing for a banks to do that or any other industry, in the back end we need to create better robust architecture. Earlier it was a monolithic architecture. Now it will become microservices based, followed by backed by blockchain or backed by AI. And within AI also there are a lot of improvements are happening. So your front is always connected to the backend with the smart contracts or API or some kind of a BPM. So at all the threefold transformation is happening. Earlier it was on Web 2, now it will go on Web 3. So automatically incentives are there for everybody, employees as well as customers, and as well as for every industries to look at it. Now, when you look at all the business models or processes which we laid down last several years on Web 2.0, including mobile banking or internet banking, or including various rules, regulations, controls around second factor authentication, RSA for adaptive authentication, all of them will change because foundation technology comes and wipe out some of those regulations. Example, we may say, okay, let's have a better security with the second factor authentication, but blockchain and some other technology coming together brings says that you don't need any second factor authentication so-called on SMS. We may have a immersive authentication or a voice authentication or some other invisible authentication by which we'll come up with a new kind of controls. So that is how banking will change, because today banks are looking at some aspects like better customer services. How do we onboard customer on the spot, or how can we reuse the same KYC everywhere, right? For example, for one KYC in banks, it takes 5,000 to 10,000 rupees. Now imagine we bring it on blockchain. The same KYC can be utilized for same Sunil or same Prasanna across all banks, even not for bank, across telecoms, across other regulated like insurance and so on. So that's a one use case. Bring on all those processes which we laid down since last several years. Automatically, all of them will change gradually. I'm not saying it will happen overnight. And good to see that how startups or even regulator or banks are doing these smaller experiments and giving a traction to have a better banking tomorrow. So I think it will not happen immediately. Lot of experimentation will happen where banks looking forward for a better customer, a customer who will not have a NPA, or a better onboarding of customer immediately. How can we have an immediate loan access for any of those customers who didn't get a better service back in 2010, 15, and so on. While we tried a lot, but I think Web 3.0 will make better experiences for all types of customer. Examples could be better trade finance, better currency, which could be a e-rupee kind of a digital currency, so-called central bank digital currency. How do you report your frauds, uptime, time times? It's all disconnected today. Even transaction happens, it takes a process called reconciliation settlement, which is a time consuming, and time consuming rather, it's a huge load on economy. I think if you utilize, strategize Web 3.0 and relevant sub technologies together, you will get a lot of incentivized newer use cases for the world. I think it's not only banking, many other industries, because it's the same customer who will interact with multiple other industries. I think sharing economy or marketplaces where customer like me or you go there and ask for services, could be any services, could be banking, non-banking, healthcare, and so on. That's a new form factor you will see. Many companies tried doing as a form of a super apps, Paytms or phone pays, and there are many super apps across the world, or Yonos, Bob World. But these super apps will evolve from mobile to metaverse. So that will be the beautiful journey where you will see customer going inside the metaverse, famous metaverse, and ask for all types of services and have their different kind of a life. I think, and it's a different thinking altogether, right? So I think in a nutshell, I could see different wave will come. It's imaginable, unimaginable, because we have not thought of, right? We'll order food, we'll open account on mobile app back in 95, but it's happening now. Imagine while we have 5G, the way Preeti ma'am addressed, we have blockchain, AI, 5G, edge computing, so many things. And how do we connect all those technologies to bring better experience today and down the line 10 years? I think you will see beautiful journey altogether. While we have a beautiful journey, everybody looks at compliance part, security part, data privacy part, which will be taken care by countries, governance, governments, regulators. But for sure, it is going to change. It's going to drastically change. And we need to see how we collaborate together as a bank or as a practitioner, as a tech company, startup company, and to make a better experience for the same customer who is accessing or getting service from multiple stakeholders. It's not only bank. That's how I look at it. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Mr. Lohar, for your beautiful insight. So now we are moving short of time. So I think we have to conclude our session now. As we all know that tech companies in today's time would need highly skilled individuals because of this updated technology. And I have already mentioned that we as a tech geek and our products like TG Pro will help the employers to hire the best out of the pre-assessed, pre-verified and skilled people. So with that, I would like to thank to all our speakers for sharing their deep thoughts and the learnings that we got from today's session. So my special thanks to all the participants, all the audience who are there or watching this, and I think they will get benefited from this session. So we will keep organizing such boardrooms in future as well. And there are a few queries that we got from our audience. So I would share these queries to my speakers, and I will get all the replies and will share with the audience. Thank you so much. Thanks to all the speakers. Thanks a lot. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you very much.